On a scale of 1 to 10, 11. I've been a fan of Star Wars literally as long as I can remember. So it came out in the UK, 78. So I would have been 6 years old, and it's just always been there. Literally cannot really remember a time without it. Every day was something new Star Wars, you know, even if it was going to the local corner shop, as we used to call them then, and buying a pack of bubblegum for the blue cards. I went to an event where there was costumers that had been organised by somebody else, and he was a member of 501st, but it wasn't a 501st event. And I turned up wanting to be a stormtrooper with the belief that there was going to be some spare costumes left, and there was no stormtroopers, but there was a Django Fett. And then the organiser of that event was saying, you know, stormtroopers, it's nice to have them, but you can never get a good Boba Fett. Well, now we know why. So yeah, took a long time and a lot of work. However, when you cut your teeth with Boba Fett, everything else is a lot easier. That was good. The way people interact with the costumes is completely different to the way they interact with you personally. Even when they just met you, they said their hellos, thank you for coming to our event, follow me, this is where you're getting changed. You come out of the changing room in the costume and they're terrified of you. They've just been talking to you, literally, like that morning. And that is the power of the costume. They're all good for different reasons. So there'll be different things you get out of wearing particular ones, and the way you can behave. You know, if you're feeling a bit and you want to have a nice easy day, then maybe Stormtrooper's going to be the one. Whereas if you're feeling a bit mischievous, then you want to be in the Tusken. When you're wearing it, it brings out a different side to you. All right. And if you're in the mood for that particular side, even better. When I was outside of the rabbit hole and I was looking at eBay, that was wonderful. But then when you start learning about it, you can't unlearn it. So that then drives you, and then when you find out about replicas and original screen use stuff, and you find out you can get copies of that, that's what you want for everything. Before you know it, you're wrapped up in it. We've got all the found parts except this one. Okay, and then it's a decision. Do we compromise? Do we go with our best replica of the found part to complete all the rest that we've got that's beautiful? Probably. But then at least we know about it, you know? Whereas just doing everything and, yeah, that's close enough. I don't like that so much. All I wanted was to be a stormtrooper. When we started, you couldn't get a replica stormtrooper from the original, made from an original one. It just didn't exist. And that's what I wanted. One thing leads to another, and then we started looking at prop store auction, and there was the Scout helmet in the prop store auction. And it wasn't cheap, it was available and we wanted it. So it just goes out the window like conscious thought, because we know that it's correct now. So we had enough to pay the first instalment, straight after you've won it. And then we were like, well, what do we do in, I think it was in a month's time. We're like, well, we don't have a plan. I think at this point, this was totally new ground for us, And at this point we were like, maybe we're just going to pay a chunk of money to secure the helmet. It wouldn't get picked up and we would just lose. I think it's respecting what you do, how you do it, who you do it for. We wanted to be as professional as we could inside of the niche of the community that we were. People probably don't even know too much about that, but that was always our kind of mission from the beginning, to make sure that we didn't let people down, and that's still true today, and it was really tested at that point. When we had the fire, that was super tough. You know, right. That was we were up against it there. We were really up against it, and people helped us out. If there'd have been a big panic and everyone had said, we want refund, then things could have been a lot different. Maybe some people would have got it and a lot of people wouldn't have got it. You know, it was quite touch and go. It was a difficult time. Pretty much I would say everything was devastated, with the exception of the one thing that allowed us to continue, and that was all the vac foaming moulds were in a part of the studio that wasn't as badly affected by temperature and like flame, shall we say. All the moulds were fine. So that was the fact that we had them meant we could start again. We had to go on. We had to continue to make things right and make sure people weren't let down. It's perhaps the negativity that you're going to get from anything that is popular. The fandom menace and all the toxic fans. I think the problem is we love Star Wars that much that we expect anything that it does to be perfect and to be more than a film. It's the bar was set that high with the original trilogy that it needs to do something special. The prequels, I don't remember not liking them at the cinema. I remember other people later, like Spaced TV show, started to take the mick out of them, and then people started becoming more open about talking about, oh, they didn't like this and they didn't like that. Didn't bother me. Darth Maul, pure Star Wars. Jango Fett, pure Star Wars. You know, these characters carry it. Count Dooku, why is he called a Count? I don't know. But maybe it's just because he was Christopher Lee, and why not? Whereas now, all of the newer stuff is just kind of all rolled in together, and there's much more of the newer stuff than the old stuff. And for some people, that's all they've seen and never even seen the old stuff. So it's different. I think our expectations are, I think we just, as fans, we don't want to hate it, we want it to be better than it is. I'm not saying screen accuracy is what everybody should aim for. I think everybody should do what they're comfortable with, what they're interested in, what they want to do. For me, that's what I want to do, and there are enough people out there, like, you know, with the same thought process, that support what we do and allows us to continue. You know, if someone's not happy waiting, then